On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we're talking Season 5, Episode 14. And we ask in our newest quiz, is Cupid stupid?
We also question, are you casting an incantation or are you just naming anime characters?
And the newest app to launch, Demon Dash, Souls on Demand.
Delicious. And finally, we also learned that Famine rides a big black steed. That's just a rascal. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz. I'm very much appreciating the tone of Diana's voice in that intro. It's a different one than she normally does. So
just mixing it up.
Keeping it fresh. Even though we've been doing this for not 5 years, but for 5 seasons now. There are 5 seasons of this podcast. Can you believe that?
It's insane.
It's insane. And we've had like 5 downloads. It's insane.
Oh, we've had more than that.
Slightly more. But yeah, so welcome to Devil's Trap Podcast. If this is your first time here, we're a rewatch podcast where we talk about the television show Supernatural. Woohoo.
Yeah. And I'm watching it for the first time.
That is right. I always forget that fact. Diana's a supernatural virgin, and we're just popping her cherries and all sorts of things in tonight's episode. We're getting her into, I think, what is known as the grossest episode ever made of Supernatural. And so super excited to talk about that. But first, Diana, so tell us what's been going on in your land.
Oh, man, we're mostly pretty chill, but I had one of those fun nights where you get to go a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll in the same night. I went and saw Katrina Kane, the songwriter out of Austin, and this is all on a Sunday night, which is just crazy. It's a fucking weeknight. But yeah, we went and saw her at a little outdoor stage at the Kessler, and then we went to a Bar and Deep Ellum 3 links for the Nerve Breakers, classic legendary legacy Texas punk band, and the Riverboat Gamblers, one of my favorite rock and roll bands, period, the end. And so it was a fun little outing for someone we know's birthday show or whatever. But yeah, that's about it that we've been up to. And looking forward to a car show this weekend. Going to Pistons and Paint up in Denton, Texas. So, which the only thing that sucks about it is the fact I have to drive to Denton.
You've got to drive to Denton.
Sorry, Denton.
And it's going to be cold.
I know. I don't want to talk about that.
It's going to be cold. Although I'm like, you get to wear a jacket. I can't wait to wear a jacket. I may have to leave my house I'm able to sit outside, like on my porch in a jacket. Like, that'll be good enough for me.
Get you out of your house and an excuse to wear a jacket. That's all you need.
I just want to wear the jackets. I have so many of them. I never get to wear them.
Yeah, that's about it here. Trying to plan a little vacation at some point, but that's what we're doing.
Yep, we're looking. I think it's already gotten to that point where I have no trips. I have no trips.
So weird.
No trips on my agenda, and so we will rectify that. So if you have any suggestions on where we should go, always love to hear it. But I think we've already made up our mind, and we're going to see if we're. I don't know. I'll spoil it a little bit. We're going to see if we're cruise people, but you can take that whatever way you want. I'm not going to elaborate. Like, do I want to go cruise the street? Do I want to go cruise for some hot dudes? You don't know. But anyways, my life that's all I've been doing lately is like fantasy looking at trips and at countries to live in and visa requirements for places and just like really daydreaming because I want to not be here maybe but so what is like fascinating though is even though I haven't been leaving my house that much, which has been It's so good, so good. I finally, I'm caught up on most of my shows. I binge watched the Bastard Son of the Devil himself, and it was, I don't know, like, I like witches. I like really hot, pale guys with bleach blonde hair, and with tattoos and trench coats who like have magic potions. So it's worth it for that. Yeah, it was fine. Like,
we met that guy in New Orleans.
We did not meet that guy in New Orleans. Because if we did, I will be really mad that you did not let me go home with him. You very much convinced me that he was Bonobo Spike, and therefore I should not go pursue anything, even though I had bright absinthe glasses on. So the fact that he was an actual human being was still kind of a question to me. I was like, oh, is this what green fairies look like now? They all come out like looking like Spike from Buffy, but just like a little shittier.
Well,
we need to go back to New Orleans soon. Oh my god, yeah. And like now it's the not hot season. Oh.
Well, I'd like to give a thank you to everyone who voted in my poll in our Instagram story about your preference for season 5, thinking season 5 specifically, Team Dean or Team Sam, both or neither. And I will tell you the answer was interesting. So the only 2 of the responses out of the 4 got any votes, and that's a tie for Dean and both. So Sam got 0 votes in this season for this season.
I would request and maybe wait, after towards like the end of the season, and we'll do this again. But I would like to add Crowley and Cass into the mix.
Okay.
And then
I've only seen Crowley like once, so
I know. That's why I said we'll wait more to the end of the season, and I may just go in and hit like Crowley like 9,000 times, and you'll be like,
I don't think
Liz,
I tried.
This election is not secure. That is what we are saying. And I'll be like, what do you mean? Just because I have access to the shared, it's not a shared password. Not a shared password for our Instagram, because I think I would probably lose my job if someone heard me say that. But it's like, it was like, I think she knows how to get into the polling software. Like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Why did Crowley have 9,850 votes? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm just
predicting that in my ball. That's how many votes he's gonna get.
I'm just gonna say I was slightly surprised that Sam got a big fat goose egg on this one. That's all I was gonna say. For a minute, both was leading. I think for a minute Dean was leading, and then it came back down. So it was interesting. So yeah, that's our supernatural vote that matters. On that note,
and remember, presidents are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever. Wu-Tang.
And all politicians are temporary.
All politicians are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever. So speaking of supernatural, and I think, this isn't so much supernatural. This is just things that affect our world of fandom. CW has been acquired. And they've been bought by basically this company. Nexstar got the ruling amount. What do you call that? Like the most amount of shares? I don't know. Yeah. They have the most because they got them from Disney, and I forgot who else they got them from. So that means that the president, the controlling interest. That was it. I know business. So the long-running president, who was one of the main fans of the show, and like Jensen Atkins has called him a mentor, has stepped down, and I don't know the story behind that, but the new person who has come in, and just the company overall, like they're making plans to reduce expenses because apparently CW may be not so profitable.
Yeah. I've heard some interesting things about that over recent years, but that's okay.
So one of the things that happened with that was that both the Winchesters and Walker Independents they did not get the order for the backdoor, I think is what it's called. So like right now, like what they had ordered was 13 episodes. So they didn't get the additional 10. So there's not going to be 23 episodes for the first season of either. They may still be renewed. That hasn't like been determined. So this is probably a fandom thing. Like you should probably reach out to the new people and say, hey, motherfuckers, don't take away like our last clip, or
just watch. If their watch numbers are high, that helps too.
Watch numbers help, but also just but that kind of voice does matter. So I don't know. I would just say annoy them, but I also just annoy corporations in general because it's fun. So Nextar's plan though, like one person said, like one source was like they want to move towards more unscripted and cheaper scripted programming and want to target older viewers than what the CW is traditionally been targeting, which is like the young.
Yeah, so
we're not young people
anymore.
No,
but I read a whole report about how like CW's part of their problem with their profitability has been that they make these shows that are quote unquote targeted to young people, but then really who watches them is women over 40. That's what they're like. It's something I was like, oh, this hits a little close to home as I rewatch Riverdale. Fuck you.
I'm sorry, what? Like, why was I looking at the Vampire Diaries convention? That's the week before the Supernatural one. I don't know. But so some of the things that have already gotten axed, they've axed Stargirl, they've axed Nancy Drew. So those have been canceled. I don't know really what it means. So turmoil is afoot. And we will see how it all plays out. But in positive side of Supernatural fandom, world, whatever, Jake Abel, aka Adam Winchester, did appear in the 6th episode of the 3rd season of Walker, reuniting him with Sam Winchester again. So the Winchester like 1.5, so like sort of a Winchester reunion on Walker, which is always exciting to see, and they all get to get back together. And also Crowley, aka Mark Shepard, is on Walker Independence. So he's been added to that. I think somebody else from the show was too. So just, lots of things are coming up in the fandom and the world. So always good to watch that. So I think with that said, let's go into talking about this episode.
Yeah. So
this was named My Bloody Valentine. And it was named this because Jensen Ackles started the remake of My Bloody Valentine 3D in 2009. So there's lots of things in here that kind of poke fun at, or at least there's one main thing that poke fun at that movie. But I did like looking at there was a moment today where I went and looked at 3D Blu-ray players and 4K televisions I can play it, and like they're actually kind of cheap right now. But so it was like a 3D horror movie, and some of like the taglines were like, on January 16th, get your heart broken, and nothing says date movie like a 3D ride to hell, and also, are you ready for your heart to be broken? He's going to do it. So it was a remake of like a 1981 movie, but they like have like pickaxes and bullets and trees and fire, and
I remember that coming out,
and it comes out the screen at you, and I was like, I want to see this shit. And I was like, how much would it cost me to buy the things to see that? So the 3D Blu-ray player is like $100, and I could get a 4K TV like with Black Friday details for like $250.
So for the low cost of $350, the Blu-ray plus the Blu-ray
plus the Blu-ray itself, which is $60. So we're looking about like for around $500, I can watch this movie
all in. Yeah, that seems like a large investment to see this one movie.
Right.
Just saying. Can you return the things after you watch it? That's the question.
Oh, just ship everything back. It was like, I just wanted to see. I just wanted to have pickaxes fly at my face.
I'm done now. Thanks. Oh my God.
I don't know like how many movies were made with this technology. I think it's probably like 5, right? Or
well,
like,
remember they were doing a bunch of movies where they'd have a segment. Like I think even one of the Harry Potters had a 3D section of it, where you could put on. They would give you the glasses and they'd tell you to put the glasses on, and there was a section that was 3D. My problem is all that shit makes me motion sick.
does it still after your LASIK?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've done anything since then.
I would try it again with the LASIK. Like that may have changed it because your vision's different now.
Yeah, it depends.
And then like could Babe who
no,
is
I think I'd already done LASIK or my laser surgery when my PRK when I did went to Orlando. I'd have to look back at pictures. I can't remember. And we definitely did a ride there that was 3D. And
ride. Oh yeah,
we did the Simpsons ride. Like
the
Harry Potter one was okay. The Simpsons one, like it was about to be full of vomit. I'm just saying. And I'll get motion sick where I feel bad, but I usually don't yuck.
I think by the end of Universal Studios, I was getting nauseous, but it was just from all of the 3D. And I think I was also probably drinking terrible alcohol.
Oh, see, I wasn't even drinking.
So, yeah. Anyways,
so yeah.
So
we digress. There we go.
We digress.
You need to watch My Bloody Valentine 3D.
But then, like, do I want to watch it like not in 3D? Like, it looks kind of funny, and Jensen Ackles is the star. So, yeah. But this was season 5, episode 14. It first aired February 11th, 2010. So, of course, right around Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. It was directed by Mike Roll, our Princess Switch guy. And he is currently in pre-production for a movie called The Mob Kid. And this is the synopsis. A father in the mafia magically switches souls with his geeky, insensitive son.
So it's kind of like Freaky Friday-ish?
It's like Freaky Friday, right? But it's a soul. But I guess that's the same thing. But, like, his son is geeky and sensitive. And this sounds like, I don't know. Y'all are in danger, girl. You're in danger. You should probably run away from this project. It's not going to end well. No. But it was written, so this episode was written by Ben Edlund. And one other person from production I just wanted to call out for this episode, although he's been around for a while, but I think this one's a really important one, is Toby Lindala, who is the head of special makeup effects for this episode. And there's just so many of them, and they're all so good. He also, like I said, he's done a ton of supernatural stuff and like so many movies. He's amazing. But he's also responsible for the head in the windshield. Like the one that we couldn't figure out what to name. That is his work. So I encourage you, if you want to get grossed out, but like in the best way, go to his website. It's Lindala Schminken FX. But if you just look up Toby Lindala, you can find it too. His stuff is sick. Like it's just fucking sick. Like that best, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like you made it this way. And he actually started out like on the X-Files. And, there's so many people who work on the show, like, as actors and as, like, crew, like, who started out in X-Files. Like, so there must be, like, a family.
Yeah,
that,
like almost, and a lot of our guest actors have done, like, at least one episode there.
Yeah, so I like knowing that world is kind of, like, going around. So, like, probably, like, people, like, he's worked on the same actors, even the small ones, right? So he's gotten some Emmy nominations for this, and he's been nominated twice for Outstanding Makeup for his work on Once Upon a Time and Voyage of the Unicorn, which I don't know what that is, but I kind of want to watch Voyage of the Unicorn, whatever it is. I mean,
I saw that come up somewhere recently too, and I've never heard of it before.
Me neither. And so
I'm kind of mad at myself.
Yeah, I feel
or the universe. I mean, I'd probably be mad at why blame myself when I could blame the universe?
Blame the universe. Like, what? This algorithm did not pick out that I wanted to see that movie.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
You sent me, like, I want to go buy, like, 5,000 sunglasses now, but, like, why didn't you tell me I need to see the Voyage of the Unicorn? Because that's what my life needs.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this episode. So we start with a city sidewalk and a couple walking down the street. It's obviously the end of a first date. Their names are Russell and Alice, and he cutely asks for a second date on Valentine's. Aww. And they kiss, and then they look longingly, and she's like, I don't want you to think I'm that type of girl, but let's kiss again and make out and go inside, which they do. And then shit gets weird.
Yeah, they get like horny, like really horny, like so horny.
So she bites. Well, I do like his "I respect the crap out of you right now" comment, and then she bites him like really hard, and there's blood, and that's quite a flex for a girl that's being a good girl on the first night hookup. But okay. And but they're both real tired of being alone, and she wants all of him inside her, but not in the way you think. No, that is not what she means. She wants to eat him, and they start eating chunks of each other.
Yep, really, really inside of her. Yeah, and they just eat each other. So in special effects land, there'll be a few things that we can point out through this. So this is a combination of a few things. So it's bread and raspberry jam. And according to Toby, I'm just going to call him Toby, we're friends now, the bread soaks up blood like a sponge. And then when you bite down, like you get that dripping effect on it, right? Because it's like, it's already like in there. So then you bite in it and you get coming down. But also then they were like, well, it can't just be the bread. So they also use turkey. So turkey was like mimicking like the human skin a lot. So they were eating a lot of turkey. And he said they probably, between each of them respectively, probably had like a sandwich and a half's worth of turkey.
Wow. If they used, instead of raspberry, if they made it cranberry, that'd be like Thanksgiving dinner.
And he also, he did mention, he was like, we should have had cranberry, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, both of you, I think it's a smart idea, right? Like if you're going to, and we'll
turkey and bread and freaking because I mean that's Thanksgiving leftovers, right? You make a sandwich with some turkey and some cranberry sauce and you put it on the bread.
And but also just kudos to these actors for like powering through like they were like it was so intense and so well done. Like but it's like what it's funny and gross and you're just like, wait, what? Like when you first realize what they're doing, like, oh, she didn't bite him. Like she bit him. Oh,
and just I was just going to cheat a little bit and tell you for my casting notes. The actors that played Alice and Russell don't really have any other credits, so they fucking owned this shit. So they were probably stoked to get this role. They get this role, and then it's like, now eat each other to death, motherfuckers. But I hope you like turkey and bread, like.
Yeah, the commentary about them from like I don't know, it was creepy, but to say like how like they were just fucking troopers and they're just like but also like they had to own this or you wouldn't have believed it, right? This could, like sure. It was already kind of campy, like, and it sets the tone for this episode's probably gonna be gnarly. So we cut.
Yeah. And they are in a home, and it's Alice's place, obviously. Sam's wearing a suit, being Detective Sam, talking to Alice's friend. She's the one who found their bodies, and she is packing her shit, or Alice's shit, one of the two, but she's packing a box.
I would pack my own shit. I would not stay. I would, nope. That stain's not coming out of that hardwood. They showed it, like, no, you need to replace all that, like, I watch enough crime shows. That blood's not coming out. Like, you're going to have to replace that whole thing. And then she said that she's the one who found them.
And that Alice was dead, but Russell was just mostly dead. He was still chewing. Again. Y'all like my vomit noise. Sorry. Don't do that. No. So they ate each other to death.
And she's just like, what the fuck? And I do think Sam got a little better at asking his weird questions here. Like, they weren't disturbing, like they fit with the motif.
Yeah, he's like asking if she had been unusually hostile lately, and just things like just general behavioral questions, which you would ask somebody when some weird ass shit happens.
I also would have asked, like, has she been chewing on herself? Did she try to chew on you? Have you, like, has she had bite marks? Like, what?
How does she order her steak?
Yeah.
Is she like a tartare or like well done? Like, I'm just kidding. Well, we find out that in addition to this, like, there being no weird signs, Alice was a super sweet girl. She also wasn't particularly sexual in the fact that she was a virgin. She still wore a promise ring. And so even bringing this dude into the house like that was way out of character. Yep.
But Alice was horny. And sometimes, maybe she was just like, I'm throwing my V card out. It's time. It's going to be this guy. And damn, I'm hungry. So, but yeah, it's weird. We're going to cut from that to Dean in this Yes Please motel. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Deco wallpaper is so good.
It's so good. It's
so
Diamond Jack's. And Diamond Jack's is having a special for Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get free champers by calling room service at 9. Like, we would, like, walk in the door and just be like, eh! And they're like, the bellboy is still in there. Like, what? Like, and we're just like, we want that champagne. And
just keep it coming. Just keep it coming.
And they're like, no, this was not all you can drink. Like, what? No, you didn't say, like, a limit on here. Like,
yeah.
And I would just go to other people's rooms and be like, eh.
Just tell them to deliver it to other people's rooms, but just leave it outside the door and we'll just, like, run down the hall and collect them all.
Just start making up voices, too. Yes, this is Mademoiselle in room 17.
You can do your German accent for everybody.
Yes.
No, so we come at the motel. Sam comes in. He brought food. Good job, Sam. He's like, hey, at the house, no EMF readings, no sulfur. It wasn't a demon, and it wasn't a demon possession, and it wasn't like a poltergeist or a ghost kind of thing. So, all right, well, Dean's like, yeah, I went to the coroner and it was fucked up. Their stomachs were real full, like real full.
And
so,
actually, he said they were like Thanksgiving full, which is timely because Thanksgiving is in a couple of weeks. So
they were eating turkey and bread, and
they were eating pretty much turkey dinner. So think about that as you have your turkey dinner this year.
Don't ruin that. So Sam's like, all right, well, I'm gonna buckle up and do some research. Why don't you go do your thing? And Dean's like, what? It's like, it's your favorite holiday. Valentine's, aka the unattached drifter Christmas. But Dean's just not feeling it this year.
But you also know that's very douchey, because what that means is it's Valentine's Day. So there's a bunch of very sad women that are lowing around and want to get fucked by somebody. And so it is your turn to swoop in and bang sad chicks.
Well, sometimes sad chicks just want to get banged.
And honestly, like, yes, Jensen Ackles, go out on Valentine's Day and find lonely women and bang them, because that is a service to the world, sir.
It is a contribution. But
like most of you other men, don't do that. You do not look like Jensen Ackles, no matter how much you think you look like Jensen Ackles. You do not. So anyhow, but Dean's not feeling it, and he pops a beer out of the cooler. So now we've just moved and bringing beer into the hotel rooms. Like, fuck it. Yeah. We're just like, this is, and I'll say, we'll probably start like, this is where the boys start drinking a lot during the show.
Okay.
And so once you start, and I'm just going to put this into your eye, because once you start noticing it, you're just going to be like, holy shit, what is wrong with their livers?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Noted.
Okay, so he's got his beer out of the cooler, and Sam said, makes a very astute observation about him.
I said, when a dog doesn't eat, something is really wrong, because you're doing something out of your norm that you've always done. That's your pattern, and you're choosing to not. That's a red flag.
Yeah, yes. Something's wrong. Something's wrong in the land of Dean. But yeah. Dean just wants to work. And hey, man, I get it. Sometimes, like, I don't want to deal with my shit. I just want to work right now. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we cut to an office, and there's these two guys working late, obviously. One's, one keeps fuck with his cell phone, and the other one's proofreading a document. And it's Brad and Jim. And Brad starts giving Jim shit. Like, get off your phone. You're like on a leash with this woman. You haven't been dating very long. You're just whipped. And, it's, you only met her a week ago. And this is just crazy. And this is Brad's big project. And he just doesn't want it to be fucked up because Jim can't pay attention.
So, first off, fuck you, Brad. I hate you, Brad. You suck. But also I understand that your coworker is fucking up your job, and I get that. So I get you being mad, but you need to talk about it in different ways, Brad.
Yeah.
And calling him pussy whipped. Not cool,
nice.
Bro. Not cool.
But then she gets weird. because of course it does. And we have the entrance of a very lovely or very pretty woman in a lovely dress, but she is completely tear-stained face, makeup's fucking everywhere. She is
Disheveled.
having a bad time. She
Yeah.
is not having a good time.
She did not put on the waterproof makeup that day.
Mm-mm.
She should have.
And she says, Jim, where were you? I'm like, oh shit, this is whoever he was texting. And she tells him that you can't choose work over me. And he comes over, he's like, oh, I know. Brad tries to say something to help Jim because she's not looking super stable here. And before
is he saying something to help Jim? He makes the whip sound again. He goes, "Chapa!" And for those of you who don't know, the chapa stands for pussy whipped. And it is a very, very stupid thing that stupid men say. And when she shot him, it was very satisfying. And I was just I watched that scene like 3 times in a row and just like watched her shoot that douchebag because it was just that satisfying.
Damn.
Fuck you, Brad.
I mean, that was a dick thing to say, but I didn't think that was, I don't know.
No,
like a lot.
I see a lot in Brad. Brad is just like every tech broke douchebag I have ever worked with. And not named Brad because if you ever listen, Brad, the Brads, there's 2 Brads, you got, well, at least one of you know you're awesome. You Brad, you're great. But this Brad, we're just going to change his name to Chad. He's a Chad. He's like a Chaz. So his name is Chaz. All right. So her shooting Chaz was just very like, thank you.
I like how she doesn't even like barely like looks over at him. She just like revolver up, boom, revolver down. What's a little bit distressing is that Jim doesn't even really react.
No,
he's
like, just like when it's so badass, she's just like boom, and then like goes back to what she was doing.
Yeah, they go back to their conversation, and so she asks Jim what they're gonna do. He's like, "Well, something's always gonna try to keep us apart, whether work, family, sleep." Like, okay, now this is unhealthy. I'm just gonna talk about boundaries.
But then she says, "And probably prison."
That's true. And then right when she says that,
and it's so deadpanned, and just like and now and prison now maybe, or exactly.
Yeah, and she said now prison maybe, and then like right then they cut it back over to Brad, and he's like his chair just flipped over backwards, and the leg just goes like his leg just falls off right when she says that. I was done. That was funny. I was like, that is well played. Yeah. So, but Jim has better idea of how they can be together forever by suicide.
Yeah, but their love is so deep, he doesn't have to speak it, and she just puts the gun up to the bottom of her chin. And that was a large gun.
A massive pistol. I was trying to see what kind of revolver it was. It was, I've seen
I'm thinking it's like, it was probably like it was some sort of 357. Yeah. But I'm not saying it's too much gun for that woman, because I hate when guys say that to you, because it's never true. You can handle whatever caliber of gun you want. You just need to know how to do it. However, that is too much of a caliber of a gun to be holding that way and shooting it, because it's just gonna that's just gonna go back. Like, I can't believe she shot him that well, like with one hand too. Like,
I don't think you'd be able to. A revolver of that caliber. And it wasn't like an extremely long barrel.
Or like, just Janice is a bad bitch. And that's what she was going with. Janice is a bad bitch. She's like, fuck off, Chaz. And so, but at least, thankfully they don't show the actual suicide. They pan out, and we just
get the flash and the sound of the building
outside. Yeah. So
we've got, so we have to, of course, now we have to go to the hospital and then the coroner's office. And, Sam's seeing this very suspicious bald man in a suit in the hallway, but Dean doesn't seem to really notice him. So we kind of just move on from it. But we get to the coroner's office, and the coroner recognizes Dean from previous meeting.
Coroner, is he a medical examiner? Because he's a doctor.
I thought they had him listed as Dr. Corman. So I had him just listed as it's Dr. Corman is his name.
I always get them confused, and I want to know. Like, they should label them. They should be like, this is a morgue, and in the morgue works this guy.
Yeah. Well, so Dr. Corman calls Dean Agent Marley, and then introduces Sam as Agent Cliff.
So we get Bob Marley and Jimmy Cliff, which then immediately puts No Woman Go Cry, like stucking in my head, and then like Many Rivers Across then immediately follows after it. So that is what I will be listening to after this episode, because I'll be listening to Jimmy Cliff. I will not be listening to Bob Marley because I lived in San Marcos and listened to way too much Bob Marley there. All right. So, but this coroner or medical examiner, whatever he is, has his fridge is so organized that it's
Very
organized
refrigerator full of organs that have been removed from these people,
and they're good and plenties.
Yeah, so I like his reminder as he's going to depart to tell them to refrigerate after opening. It's a good reminder. So, anyways, they start examining the organs, and this is when Sam notices that the hearts have an identical mark.
Before that, there is a note, and I missed it. And I didn't know it until like I went back, like I read it somewhere else. So Dean offers Sam the heart, right, and is kind of like, will you be my Valentine? And it's just kind of a silly moment. But apparently that was a trademark of the film My Bloody Valentine. And so the killer would leave a human heart in a box of chocolate. So that was a nod to they were like poking fun at Jensen, but also having there's no way, like, it's like a guy with a stud finder, like having to make a stud joke. Like if I had a heart, like I would ask you to be my Valentine. Like I would just have to.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So, so they're examining the organs, and Sam notices that both the hearts of the deceased couple have identical marks on them, and it's a letter, but it is, oh no, I think it's Enochian. That's what he says. So they call Cass, who appears quite quickly, and he's like, oh no, totally an angelic mark, but it's a mark of union intended to mate. It's Cupid. It's a lower order of angel, cherub third class, and there are dozens of them. It's not just one. Dean's like, oh, the fat kid in diapers. And Cass is like, they're not incontinent. So, but basically they need to figure out what's going on. A Cupid apparently has gone rogue, and we need to stop them before they kill again.
Not a rogue Cupid. There's a rogue Cupid. Oh, yeah. No, that's going to happen. So what else is going to happen is Cass told us a little bit about their version of Cupid. We're going to talk about Cupid, but we're not going to, I guess, talk about it more like I'm going to quiz Diana about what she knows about Cupid in this game show we're calling Cupid is Stupid. Or Stupid Cupid. I don't know. Pick one. So the information for this game show or quiz, whatever, comes mostly off of Wikipedia. Come at me. I went to library school. I know how to do research, but I had a busy week, and this shit's fine. Like none of the stuff's inaccurate. So whatever. It's not Jeopardy. So deal with it. Okay? So, all right, we are going to start off, Dinah, with maybe an easy one. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, so Cupid is actually from Roman mythology. Well, what's the name of his Greek counterpart? Is it A, Momus, B, Eros, C, Uranus, or D, Hades?
B, Eros.
Yes, you are correct. It is A. The correct answer is Eros. Momus is the god of satire and criticism. So let's start a cult. This will definitely be our new cult. I'm just cult Momus. It's going to happen. Hades is king of the underworld and king of the dead. And Uranus is up your butt. So there actually was a god named Uranus, and he was the god of sky and heavens, but whatever. All right. So second question. All right, so if you did not know, Cupid carries two types of arrows. He has one bow, but two types of arrows. And so one of them has a sharp golden point. And so if you get hit with that, then you're going to have like uncontrollable desire and lust. But the second kind is going to cause you to act like I do on most of my online dates, which is to be filled with aversion and a desire to run away. So what is this tip made of? Is just the tip. Is it A, bronze, B, iron, C, lead, or D, aluminum? Or if you were in the UK,
Aluminium. No,
Aluminium.
my answer is gonna be iron.
No, the correct answer is lead, and I don't know
That was my
why.
second choice, but
It
okay.
just is like it's like a dull tip. So like if you get hit with that tip, then you want to run away. And all right. So question number 3. In classical art, Cupid was often depicted as riding what animal? Was it A, a donkey, B, a cat, C, a goat, or D, a dolphin?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with goat.
That would be great, but it's actually dolphin. So
I don't think I've ever seen. Oh, maybe I have.
Oh,
Okay.
it's so good. It's so
I think
good.
you're right. I
Yeah.
know you're right. I'm just trying to picture. I'm like, I guess I have seen that.
Yeah, so like the dolphin, like they apparently like represent affection or love because I don't like they're rapey, horny motherfuckers. But, so like
affection or love.
Yeah, but also like there's something like his mom is Venus and Venus's things were dolphins. So I don't know, whatever. He looks funny as shit riding a dolphin. Just Google it. There's some where he's literally like his hand is like flung back in the air and he's just like wee, like he's having like his best life on this dolphin. So definitely look that up.
Noted.
Okay. So question 4. In the medieval times, there were these people who had the best job title. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Mythographers. Isn't that good? Right? I don't know if it was necessarily their job title, but it was what they did. That's someone who basically records myths or comments on them or narrates them. Well, so since it's medieval ages and like they have to put Christ up and everything, they're like, okay, like we can't have like Cupid be an angel. Like he's going to be a demon, right? So he's going to be a demon of what? Was he the demon of A, intoxication, B, fornication, C, infatuation, or D, defenestration? I'm gonna wrap all of those. It's so good. I'm gonna say them over again.
I'm gonna go straight with a guess on this one. I'm gonna go into infatuation.
No, it was fornication.
Oh, I almost went there. I need to trust my gut. I changed it the last minute.
Yeah, you should go with it. Yeah, apparently he was a character who would, quote, exploit desires to draw people into an allegorical underworld of vice. Wow. Yes, please.
I was gonna say, that sounds like Liz's like best weekend.
Please take me to an allegorical underworld of vice. Like, where does this exist? Like, is there membership? Like, where can I sign up? And for those of you who don't know, defenestration is one of my favorite words taught to me by my friend Sammy, and that is the act of throwing somebody out a window. As in Russia, you often die of defenestration. So, anyways.
Noted.
So number 5. All right, this is our last question. All right, so for all the points, if you get this,
I've only got one right so far. It's terrible showing today by me.
You can come back. You can come back. This is where you get it. All right. So there is a classical story from a Latin novel, Metamorphoses, also known as The Golden Ass. I just had to say that because the golden ass. So, which is about, that means a donkey, but it could have meant like a really awesome ass that was in gold. And I'm just going to go with that. And so inside of that is a story about Cupid, and he falls in love with a woman named Psyche. So like this very famous love story of Cupid and Psyche. So he falls in love with Psyche after he was sent to shoot her with an arrow to trick her into falling in love with something hideous. Because why? Was it because A, his mother Venus got really insecure about how hot Psyche was? Was it B, Psyche pissed off Zeus after she rejected fucking him as a swan? Was it C, Cupid got drunk with Dionysus and together they thought this would be fucking hilarious? Or was it D, that she was such an amazing seamstress that Athena got jelly and wanted to get rid of her?
Huh. I actually am very torn on this one.
because the Greek gods are dicks and all of those sound plausible.
Yeah, I was like, I want to say all the above, but I don't think this is all of the above type of situation.
It is not.
So I'm gonna go with one. Venus was jealous. I remember her being a very jealous type, or jealous.
She was.
I remember that.
Well,
story.
they're all very jealous. Like all of these Greek gods have they all have flaws.
But I remember that. Yes, I vaguely remember that story. So I was like, all right. But I also remember the weird swan fucking. So I was also curious.
Yeah, no, that is Leah. Is that her name? It starts with an L. There's a woman who fucked Zeus as a swan. That actually happened. Well, I think he raped her as a swan. Obviously Dionysus is, the god of wine, and he does get drunk a lot, but no, that didn't happen. And Athena really does value, like, there was a thing about her getting mad about someone else's weaving, but it wasn't Psyche. So Psyche was just like, she was really pretty. She had like two other sisters, but she was the prettiest. TLDR, Cupid goes down to like go shoot her with something hideous because his mom was like, nah, these bitches are like, everyone's like looking at her, they're not looking at me, and they're not worshiping my statue, they're not washing it anymore, like, I need to come back. So he goes to shoot her, but he sees her and he's like, damn, she hot, I don't want to do this, right? So he falls in love with her, and then basically like her father like goes to an oracle about who she's supposed to marry, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be really bad. So they tie her up on a rock, and so like they leave her to die on this rock, and she's just like, I accept my fate. And then somebody like comes and they takes her out, and they run off with her, and they take her to Cupid, and they're like on this island, and so like they start having sex with each other in the dark for some reason. And she was like, you can't look at me. And so like she ends up getting pregnant, and then her sisters come, and her sisters are jealous, and they're like, no, you're fucking a monster, like he's hideous. So she makes this plan to like I'm gonna see him while we have sex. And so like she like gets this knife and she's gonna kill him, and then like the light turns on, she's like, oh my god, he's so hot. Like he wasn't in diapers. Like he was like a hot like son of like of Venus, like God, Aphrodite, like the hottest thing in the world. But so like she's like, oh my god, he's hot, and then she trips and she stabs herself on like one of the good arrows, like the desire wins. So now like they're in love, and then they go off and like they have adventures, and it all like it's all shitty, but I don't know, they end up together, maybe they become stars or something. I don't remember how it ends, but whatever. So
yay.
So that's just a little bit that's a little bit about Cupid. But in supernatural land, we're gonna be at a bar with bar food, and I'm very hungry, and that sounds so good right now.
But it's kind of it's a bar with bar food, but it's kind of a nice like taverny kind of bar.
It looks like an upscale Bennigan's.
Okay, that's fair. But they've got a bunch of Valentine's decorations up, and Dean, Sam, and Castiel are there. And Castiel explains that they're there because Cupid. Well, Dean asks if it's because Cupid likes their cosmos, but actually, it's because it's the nexus. It's a nexus of humans to pollinate.
It's a garden that Cupid will come to pollinate. Like, it's just such a weird thing to say. I love it. And then like Cass is just like eyeing him because he's putting ketchup on his burger, but not for the reason that you should be eyeing somebody for. Why are you putting ketchup on a burger? What are you, 5?
Some people do. Yeah,
it's disgusting. Don't put ketchup on a burger. What is wrong with you? Ugh.
So, yeah, but Dean preps his burger, and then as soon as it's ready to eat, he just pushes it away, which is also weird because now twice that Dean has rejected food. But Castiel grabs it, which is extra weird, and he's about to take a bite, but then they get distracted because Cupid's there, and you see like a whoosh of wind through the room, and this couple is obviously impacted. They're sitting off in the booth, so all our boys have to go out back to go find Cupid.
And Cupid's invisible, but Cass can see him.
Yes, and Castiel has him like tethered with magic, with angel magic. But then he does an incantation to make him appear, and there he is, aggressively hugging Dean from behind.
I like his like incantation. And like Cass tethers him in the back and starts naming anime characters.
That too.
That too.
That
And so
too.
Cupid like is just like hugging everybody, and they're like the good hugs, like like back
Full body
people
bear
coming
hug.
off, just like making everybody uncomfortable. And Dean's just like very uncomfortable. Like, are we gonna fight?
Yeah, he is not into it. And apparently Castiel explains, he's like, this is like their handshake. And Dean's like, he says, I don't like it. Cass replies, no one does. Or no one likes it. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
I love it. Yeah, it's so good. So they're just getting hugged by like this naked man.
By very friendly naked man who's very sweet and very excited. And he's like, and they start asking him though, he's like, what can I do? And they're like, hey, why are you killing people? What the fuck, brah? And he's like, wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I do that? I love love. This is insane. And he's like, he starts crying because he's sad because he loves love. And Sam's like, maybe one of us should go talk to the naked crying angel. So Castiel tries and he's like, look, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings. We just, and he gets more hugs because that's what happens. But he's like, look, I was on my rounds. I don't know what you're talking about. Anything that happens after I hit people has nothing to do with me. So, and he like he's even like, Cass, even read my mind. You can tell what's what. And so he does, and he's telling the truth.
Which is so convenient. And also, why don't they have Cass do this all the time? Which I guess it probably only works at Angels, but like, yeah, maybe. You have a human polygraph machine that actually works. Never, right. If you're ever asked by a police officer to take a polygraph machine, do not take that machine. Do not do that. No. Okay. Anyway, so, but Cass's polygraph mind thing, totally fine.
Works.
Totes. And but then like the Cupid tells us some information, and he's so excited about it too.
Yeah, because all his work is just following orders, and orders come from heaven. And Dean's like, but why? What does heaven care about? And he's like, oh, they usually don't, but certain bloodlines and destinies, like y'all, like John and Mary Winchester, was a very big deal upstairs.
And Dean's just like, whoa, like, you hooked up my parents? Like, and he was like, well, no, but yeah, I mean, and so he, like, into this Cupid, like, this is so great. He was like, but, what we knew was that Sam and Dean Winchester had to be made. And that's a lot of shit. Like, just like, man. There's a lot of destiny in the season. So much destiny.
And it's a match made in heaven, and he dances gleefully.
And so then he sings,
just so I'm glad we only see him from the waist up as he's dancing gleefully. Anyways.
Yes. Although I would like to see him full nude with that schlong, just like running around while he's singing Heaven, I'm in heaven. Which, though, right before Dean punches him in the face, one of the things, though, this may have also been a trigger, because that is what Alistair used to sing to Dean as he was making him torture people, or as he was torturing him. I forget which one it is. But so that is a weird callback that happens right before Dean punches poor Cupid.
Yeah. And it just hurts Dean's hand and makes Cupid upset, and he disappears.
He eats away.
So kind of backfires.
He's sad. He eats.
So, yeah.
And Sam is finally like, what is up your butt?
Yeah, you just punched a Cupid. And Dean's like, I punched a dick. We didn't punch him in the dick.
We punched a dick.
Semantics. So anyway, so we know there's something up with Sam and Dean, but or especially with Dean, that Sam's asking about, and Dean is not addressing it. So we go back to the medical examiner's office, and Sam wants to hear about other weird ones that have come in. So they show, the doctor shows him the body of Mr. Finch with his extremely distended belly.
Look apparently, how good this belly is. Look at this effect. Like, you can't see it right
well
now.
done.
But go back in your mind and look at it. And so so I remember it was Toby or somebody said, like, they were there during casting to find like the right size guy to do this too.
Wow.
And they went with like the normal guy, and it's so good. Okay, go on.
Apparently, Mr. Finch used to weigh 400 pounds, had gastric bypass, and lost a lot of weight. But last night, he went on a Twinkie binge. And I'm not gagging at Twinkies. I'm just gagging at this story. My notes literally say I scribbled as big as I could on my page, who came up with this? Because apparently he kept eating the Twinkies until he burst his gastric band. And then he still kept eating the cakes, the Twinkies, and he was jamming the cakes down his gullet with a toilet brush.
Yep.
But
I also but I also know what is happening.
He was rotting a cannon.
Yeah, but I also know what is happening as he's doing is each time he's putting it in his mouth, he's getting disappointed because you always think the Twinkie is going to taste better than it tastes, and so you're gonna put it and each time he's this next. It's like you searching for that heroin high or something, right? This chasing next one, I'm chasing the Twinkie dragon, and the next one's going to be the one that tastes like childhood and joy, but no, it just tastes like styrofoam, and I'm going to keep doing that until my stomach explodes, and then I just use a toy. Why a toilet brush?
No, girl, I'm telling you. That's why I'm like, what the fuck? There's a lot of other implements you could have mentioned before toilet brush that wouldn't have been quite as shocking. Just saying.
But what could you do a plunger? I don't know.
No, that's worse. How does that fit in your mouth?
Which end of the toilet brush? I don't know. So anyhow, but then now we're oh shit, it's not just love. Not just love.
Well, at first, also our fine doctor says, I'd say it was a very peculiar thing to do, and takes a swig of his flask.
It's very peculiar. And I did also know the love of the use of the word peculiar.
Yeah. So Sam leaves, and he's on the phone with Dean, and he's like, look, this guy's not marked by Cupid, so can't blame Cupid anymore. Noted. There's been 8 suicides and 19 ODs in a week, which is way higher than average. So, but Sam gets distracted, but they're going to go meet up. So, but Sam gets distracted and sees the bald man in the suit again. So he follows him with the demon blade because he knows what it is. And it is a demon.
I can smell you.
Yeah, Sam could smell his demon.
I can smell what you're cooking. Smell what this briefcase is cooking.
Ugh. And then the demon recognizes Sam, and then they fight. Except for Sam has a fight. It's a half-ass fight. This demon's kind of a bitch, right?
It's a very weird fight.
Is this demon a bitch?
Yeah, he's kind of a bitch, but but it's also Sam's not big. It's just bitch.
Well, Sam's Sam's all freaking out because he realizes what he smelled and how he knew it was a demon is that he smelled the blood. So this is all bad, but he's resisting the blood. But the demon drops his case and runs away after he gets cut. So Sam's got a suitcase now. So he goes back to the motel to meet Dean, and they're like, what the fuck does this demon have in this case? And they go to open it, lid flips open, and you get this bright light.
And it's totally Pulp Fiction.
Very Pulp Fiction, yes. And then Cass shows up eating a burger. Weird. And says it's a human soul. This is all starting to make sense. And Dean's like, when did you start eating? Which is a very good point, because Castiel does not eat. Angels don't eat. And they're starting to think that, okay, hunger is a clue. The town is not suffering from Cupid. It's from hunger and starvation. Famine.
Clippity cloppy, clippity cloppy, clippity cloppy.
Got another 4 horsemen. Now they're one of the horsemen is here.
Yes. So we have another horseman. And I think for up until this point, this is some of Cass's best lines, I love this scene so much just because I think the writing in it so good. And and some of it's just straight from the Bible with the way that they incorporated it in.
Oh yeah. And it's him talking, and then we get some other scenes over it. It's really, really, really well done. But yeah, he's explaining that it's not starvation just as in food. It's sex, attention, drugs, love.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. And then he says this line, and it's so good. And he says, Cupid made them crave love. Then famine came and made them rabid for it. That's so good. Ugh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And he figures out that his vessel, Jimmy's
Craving.
vessel. Yeah,
well, Jimmy in Castiel's vessel, is craving red meat.
He hungered for
that's
meat.
his.
Hungry,
Yeah.
like the wolf. Hungry like the wolf.
So, and then will come Famine, riding on a black steed. We see headlights of an Escalade pulling into a parking lot. Suits and sunglasses exit. Ride into land of plenty. An old man is unloaded from the vehicle and onto a motorized wheelchair with his oxygen. And great will be the horseman's hunger, for he is hunger. They're at an all-you-can-eat restaurant. It's an entourage of about 6 entering. His hunger will seep out and poison the air. The people at the restaurant start eating ravenously. The cashier is pulling cash out of the cash register and shoving it in her bra. And this old man in his wheelchair is just watching it all as we see the cook in the back grab fries that are in the fryer, the fry oil. And people are downing bottles of pills and booze, making out, eating. The cook's eating the fries out of his burned, bloody hands. It's just fucking bonkers.
It's amazing, is what it is. Like, it's
Famine is hungry, must devour the souls of his victims.
And I'm gonna start making my hungry sounds soon. But so I love, we get to see like more of like the effects here. So when the cook is putting his hands into the fryer and then he pulls them back out, and that was all like makeup on his hands. And they said, like they actually pulled back some of the other effects. Like they were going to be like smoking and like steaming, but they're like, the makeup was like too good for us to cover it. And so,
yeah,
but just that idea that I am so hungry that I'm reaching into this foil, and then like, it's just debauchery and chaos. It's, yeah, and just the way everything is in there. And then like Famine rides a rascal.
That's his black steed.
His black steed. The black steed is not the Escalade. It is the rascal. So like it just like and then just like his like most pitiful cry where he's just like hungry. Hungry. And I make that sound so often and like stoned at my couch, just like hungry. DoorDash. So
DoorDash for souls. That's what Famine needed.
That's what Famine needed. And he
Soul Dash.
No, he actually had it. Like he
did. Technically he did. He had because Lucifer had his demons doing that for him.
I actually had in my notes that this was DoorDash.
Demon Dash. Souls on demand.
Yeah, and so that's what's in this box, right? Or what's in the briefcase. It's what's in the box. It's this time it's Twinkie Soul.
Twinkie Soul. Oh man. So we get a brief explanation back with Sam, Dean, and Castiel that this is demons delivering the soul to Famine. So they can feed him to get ready to march across the land, which sounds bad.
Roll across the land.
Roll across.
That'd be so slow.
At a very slow pace. So
it's coming, but it's very slow.
Oh, so back at the restaurant, there's already flies. Like, it's already fucking gross. This was real quick. But our bald demon shows up, and Famine's real hungry. But Baldy just basically has to tell him, like, look, Sam the Vessel's here, and we fought, but he got away. Kind of. That's not really what happened. The demon kind of ran off. And but I got his motel key. Oh my gosh, shit, that's bad. Damn it, Sam. But Famine's like, oh, that's fine, but give me my fucking soul. I'm hungry.
Where's my lunch? I want my cream cake soul. You promised me cream cake soul. I put that on DoorDash. I am hungry. Stop screwing up my order, DoorDash. Like, that is literally what's happening right now. I was like, look, I put this on here. Preference, cream cake soul.
Yeah.
Where's my cream cake soul?
So he had to instead, Baldy's about to go, explain that he lost it and go get another one, but it was just a whole thing. So he turns to leave, but Famine's like, nah. And he makes him black cock smoke out and eats his demon soul or
He just
whatever.
eats his delicious cock smoke.
Yeah, he eats the cock smoke, black cock smoke.
And then he's just like, delicious. So delicious.
Ugh. So we've got Sam back in the motel doing a cold washcloth to his face.
Just jonesing like a motherfucker.
He's
seeing little babies crawl across the ceiling.
God, he is withdrawing like a motherfucker. Castiel is eating another burger. Weird. And they're like, so is this whole town just going to like eat, drink, and screw itself to death? Castiel's like, we should stop it. How did you stop the last horseman? He's like, well, we got the ring from war. That's the only thing you could really do. And Dean still has it. And so Cass is like, oh yeah, Famine has a ring too. So Dean's like, great, let's go chop his fucking ring off. Duh.
Avi. But then Sam's like, guys, can't go. Kinda hungry. Hungry for what? And then I feel like hungry hippos. Like that should like commercials to just like burst in. And then he's just like, and Dean's like, oh, I know. It's demon blood. No.
Yeah. So Dean has to lock Sam down before he leaves, which means they handcuff him to the bathroom plumbing and then shove an armoire in front of the motel room door. Well, Castiel does that with like magic angel strength. But all right.
But so I also think you could do better. Like if I am trying to keep somebody from escaping, I'm not going to choose a pipe just because I know there are many ways to get out of it. Like, not saying like they're easy, but having watched Supernatural for 5 seasons and seen their lives, like I would assume that Sam could escape from being attached to a pipe.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was
I think
just
they were being hopeful that he wouldn't be that adamant in trying to escape. I don't know. So Castiel and Dean go to the hospital and they run into Marty, who was Dr. Corman's assistant, and they ask where Dr. Corman is. But Dr. Corman's dead. He was sober for 20 years. But that morning, when we saw him with Sam and he had Mr. Finch's distended body, we saw him take a swig of that flask, right? Well, apparently that was the beginning of the end for Dr. Corman because he went home and drank himself to death that day.
It's never just one drink.
Wow. So Dean's actually kind of bummed by this. You could tell he's affected. He liked
him.
I liked
him too.
I did too. I mean, we didn't have him very long, but I liked him.
He had little organized Tupperware, some organs. Yeah.
The good news is though, his soul has not been harvested yet, so they're gonna be able to hang around and watch for someone coming to collect it. Back in the motel, Sam is struggling real hard. By the way, it is not good. He really wants to break out. But yeah, so Dean and Cass are staked out at the hospital looking for whoever's stake out to come see who's getting the freaking soul from Dr. Corman. But finally, Dean, they're talking about the burgers because Castiel has been eating a burger nonstop.
This car smells so bad.
Oh God!
My God! And that smell is not going to come out of baby. And I get it. They eat fast food and shit, but that's going to be a smell of after a drunken dive into In-N-Out or something. It's just going to be gross. Really, really gross. And so but the hamburgers make him very, very happy, and I get it. And he has lost count. And he basically was well, it's probably in the low hundreds. And apparently Misha also lost count of how many burgers he had to eat. And at one point he said he had to eat at least 5, he was eating 5 burgers, and it was disgusting.
Wow. Yeah. But he wants to know what Dean's hunger is. How is he unaffected by this? And Dean's I guess he's look, when I want a drink or sex or a sandwich, I get it. And so Cass is well, does that mean you're well adjusted? He's God, just well fed.
Just well fed. And I think this line is just so well crafted. He's when I want a drink, I drink. When I want sex, I go get it. Same goes for a sandwich or a fight. It's a simple line, but it defines Dean Winchester so much. Just what? Yeah. and that's, you know, a lot of like, I think like, what does psychics call that? Like the super id or something like that. Like you're always operating on the pleasure principle. But so it's not necessarily like, it's not well adjusted, but at the same time, like, it's like, I'm satisfied.
Yeah. And I almost believe it when he says this. Almost. Anyways. So at this point, we do see a man in the suit with a suitcase exit the hospital and get into a big SUV. So they follow him. And we do head back to the motel. Sam is still desperately trying to break free. He almost pulls the freaking sink off the wall.
Yeah.
But then we hear a noise. And he's distracted, so he calls out. He thinks it's Dean and Cass coming back for him. And they're like, what happened? I'm still, I don't think it worked.
Yeah, I still want blood. This didn't work. What's going on?
It's two demons.
Uh-oh. Not friendlies. Nope.
Not good.
But then, like, they make a stupid decision and decide that they're going to bust him free.
And like, I also real hungry for demon blood.
He's real hungry for demon blood. And at this point, I'm like, demons. Like, don't you know? Like they're gonna kick your ass. And the same thing, like, as like as Dean and Cass are like doing that very inconspicuous drive in the Impala. Like, don't the demons know about the Impala by now? Like, right? If like they talk about them all the time, like, does nobody mention this car?
Surprise.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the fight goes poorly for the demons is the short way to say it. But after she talks like this demon chick is real condescending and thinks that she's just having the best day ever. But instead, he throws her, attacks her, cuts her neck open with broken glass and starts drinking a shit ton of her blood.
Yeah, he does that. Like, he does that like so hard, and it's just like shabam. And then like, I guess at least he didn't just like rip it open, but and then the other guy comes in. You're like, oh shit, Sammy's got his mojo back and his fruit punch mouth. The fruit punch mouth is also back and will remain for the rest of the episode.
Yes, and but he can do his Sammy psychic fling and flings the other demon real bad. So, we got our stakeout at the buffet now going on. We know
this is not just a buffet; it is Biggerson's, and this is where they won the remember the free food for a year during the this is where they won that. So Biggerson's is back. So. And it's all you can eat. And damn it, there's no all you could eat burgers. I guess maybe Fuddruckers. I think that's probably the closest.
I bet they'll make you a burger at Golden Corral.
Do they have burgers? No, it's appropriate because everybody in Golden Corral is driving a rascal, right? So, and some of them do have I know at Old Country Buffet, so I'm assuming the same goes at Golden Corral because they're the same thing. OCB versus Golden Corral, whatever. But people would have the trays mounted on the rascal, and I was like, yeah, that's the dream life.
That's it. That's the dream.
I don't even have to breathe as I go to get my food.
So Dean and Cass have a plan, and Castiel is just very distracted by food still, though. This is not good. But the plan is that Cass is going to take the knife, go in, and cut off Fammon's hand, and then meet Dean back in the parking lot. Or his finger, and then meet Dean back in the parking lot. And just goes and does it. He gone. Flip. And Dean realizes this is a bad plan and that he's not going to be able to wait in the car. So he decides to go in. He goes in. The restaurant's real dark, which is not a good sign ever. We know this. And he's in the back. And what do we see? We see Castiel's back from a distance. He is sitting on a floor eating raw hamburger.
Yep. He found the restaurant pan of burger meat, and he is so happy. But Dean is not. And we're going to fight. No. Fight!
Yeah. He gets attacked by a demon, like you do. Two demons. And then, so they beat him up a little bit, and then they walk him out to the main restaurant area. Well,
and they all have sunglasses on, which I think is
some Men in Black shit going on here.
Is it because of the soul glow, which I guess is a reason, but you just look douchey. You look douchey. It's dark and you have sunglasses on.
Sunglasses at night is never a cool look. Anyways,
Nope.
don't say never. Rarely a cool look. I'm gonna go there because I don't like nevers. Absolutes.
No absolutes, but for the most part, you look like a douchebag.
Yeah. So they're out in the main part of the restaurant. Castiel's still eating. He's got the knife. The demon knife is on the floor next to him, and Famine is there, and he starts talking to Dean. And he calls Castiel a dog and saying he just threw a steak to him. And Dean's like, what? So this is your big trick, making people cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? And Famine's going to monologue.
He's going to monologue. And that's just what he's going to do. And but some of the things I'm just like, oh, stop being right. And he's just like, yeah, no, America, this is so great. All you want to do is consume. But also hunger, can also just come from the soul. It can be from the soul. Mm-hmm. And Dean's just like, nah, not mine, asshole. You can't get this. And then he just rascals right up to him and slowly approach it. And which is even worse, you're being held by sunglass juice guys and just have to watch.
Slowly approaching you on his rascal. Come on, can we turbocharge this bitch?
And then then he's got clammy old man hands.
And he puts it on his stomach.
And you're trying not to hate be grossed out by an old person, but you're just this hand is
an especially gross old person.
But with amazing eyebrows. But and he's just that's a deep, dark nothing inside. Can't be filled with anything. I can see inside you, Dean. I can see how broken you are. And it was oh, damn. And then he's like, you're so defeated, but you keep fighting and you keep going through the motions. And then I immediately get Buffy the Vampire, musical, going through the motions stuck in my head. But that he says the gothiest of all goth things and says, you're not hungry, Dean, because inside you're already dead.
Whew.
Yes. Oh. Also title of my next goth album. Inside Liz is already dead. Oh, well, damn. That was man, that monologue was, yeah.
Oh, that one, the first one was whatever. I mean, it was good. I'll take it back. Famine's monologues are pretty good. They really are. But then we hear Sam saying, let him go. What?
Let him go. Let him go.
Sam's there. Yay. And Dean's kind of the fuck, because not only is he shocked that Sam's there, but Sam's also got Kool-Aid mouth. He got blood all over his face. Dean knows that we have a relapse on our hands.
You went off the deep end, Sammy. Oh, you did.
Mm-hmm. But Famine's like, oh no, demons, don't attack him. Yeah. Sam already got the snack that he sent to him. So Famine did this on purpose.
Shit.
Let's talk about some manipulation. Nice. But he also informs Sam that Sam won't die from over drinking demon blood. He's the exception to the rule, the exception that proves the rule, because that's what Satan wanted. So now, all these other people, everybody else dies from overindulgence in their hunger. But Sam will not die from that.
All you can eat. You are open for business. Now, please eat my demons.
Yeah. And Dean looks really distressed. He does not have faith in Sam's ability to resist the temptation.
No, and he shouldn't, because Sam just is hoovering in that cock smoke. He's just sucking.
So he instead, but Sam does resist slicing open their throats and drinking their blood, and puts up his hand to do his psychic Sammy exorcisms, and all of the demons at the same time cock smoke out.
Yeah.
While they're all distracted with this, and it is taking a very long time, and there is a lot of
so much. It's just whirling around, and Sam's
roiling, black roiling cock smoke.
Black roiling cock smoke. And so, but also this is the first time where we start seeing that he's ingesting actual demon, right? He's not he's doing blood. He's sucking off the cock smoke, right? That's actually coming down. And Dean's just grabbing the knife and watching it, right? And so, okay, yeah. And he's just no. And Fam's whatevs, I'll eat them all.
Mm-hmm. And so Famine eats them all, but Dean's got the blade. So Sam tries to do his psychic attack on Famine, but it can't because he's one of the horsemen, so that doesn't work. But it works on the demon souls that are inside of Famine.
Yeah, and I will translate this into a different way for people who are very dirty. So he's like, Famine's like, I'll eat them all. And Sam walks up to him and tries to suck him off. And then Famine's all, I'm a horseman, don't work on me. And Sam's all, I know, but it works on them. And then he starts sucking off all the demons he ate. So that's the translated version.
Getting sucked off also reminds me of have you watched Ghosts?
Yes, of course. Like, okay. You finally started
getting
watching
sucked off. That's right.
Yes, getting sucked off. That was very much where my brain was when I wrote that. But and Dean just kind of looks at him like, what?
He's just like, the fuck?
What just happened?
Yeah, it's not good. But there's like it's stuff coming out of Famine's shirt. It is just not a good scene. But the good thing is that Sam's able to stop what he's doing, and Castiel finally stops fucking eating, and Dean just looks shook.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Yeah, Dean like has my face, which I think I probably often get, where I'm just sitting there in the dark, just like, what happened? What happened? Whoa, what do we do now? And then at least they just like, we don't get the intermittent of like how they leave whatever Biggerson's.
No.
Is.
All we know is that suddenly we are back at Bobby's bunker.
Yay! At my favorite place, the demon hole. Oh, I love the demon hole where Sam just goes to get detoxed.
Yeah,
so pretty in
Dean
there.
Dean's drinking in the hall from the bottle, listening to Sam scream through withdrawals. So this is terrible. Castiel's trying to comfort him, but nah. Dean decides to go get some air.
And I think it's also like Cass really thinks that Sam's detoxing is that's what's getting Dean's goat. And I think it's possibly, just that Cass doesn't have a great understanding of like human emotions and can't see that, this wasn't just like, it's not the demon detox. He broke. Something like broke inside him. And this was like just the last thing that happened. And he's just like, can't take anymore. Can't talk to you, Cass. I gotta go outside. Yeah.
So we got Dean standing out by the cars, especially he's by Baby, but all the other cars out in Bobby's property in the rain, crying, looking up to the sky, saying, please, I can't, I need some help.
It's so
depressing.
It's so hard to watch, and I so want to help him. And I think as a viewer, that's when they just I also had a customer. We had a poor woman. I'm not gonna go into it, but when you see somebody that's in that much stress and pain,
yeah,
I want to save you, Dean. Dean, you're sad. And you're so desperate that you're just begging for God to help you.
Yeah, it's very sad. So yeah, that's the episode.
All right, so let's take a moment for that to kind of seep in and maybe get a little palate cleanser, some casting couch.
We can do that. We can do some casting couch palate cleanser right now.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
So, take away the badness, Diana.
I'll try. So our Dr. Corman, who we liked so much, was played by Jay Brazow. He was in a lot of television, everything from MacGyver to X-Files to 21 Jump Street to a bunch of voice work on G.I. Joe, Madeline, Sonic, the animated Sabrina series, and the Bratz movie. He was Kreutschek in Cool Runnings. He was Mr. Cobb in the Lonesome Dove miniseries. He was Mr. Moloch in Slam Dunk Ernest. He's in one of the Ernest movies. And an official, he's a reoccurring official in the Air Bud movies.
Do the Ernest movies, we can't watch those now, right? They're not okay? Do they hold up? I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to watch, I'm betting they're bad.
Oh God, they were so good back then, though.
I know, but we need to try. We should try.
He was Dr. Chuck Nelkin in Best in Show. He was a character named Bobby in the movie Double Jeopardy, which I love. He was Father Mold in Horns, which was a Daniel Radcliffe film in 2013 that came out.
Oh, that
really
was that
good.
weird
I never watched
one.
it.
Yeah, no, but it
saw
looks that one looks super. It looks too dark. Too dark.
In one of your favorite series of films, he was in Step It Up All In 2014. I know you like those. And then the movie Noelle, spelled Noele, with Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader in 2019.
Oh, Kendrick. I'm assuming it was a Christmas movie, but
it was. She plays Noelle, but he plays
let
Santa.
Me guess,
in
like
that.
she is leads a choir and
no. Nope, she's Santa's daughter, and then becomes the new Santa. It's a whole feminist thing. Anyways, a girl can be Santa argument. Anyways, it's fine.
Sure.
It was cute.
A woman could be Santa. Why couldn't a woman be Santa? Oh, you fat and doll if you want.
So, but yeah,
she had to sing. There can't be an Anna Kendrick movie where she doesn't sing. I don't know. We'll watch it this Christmas. Yeah.
But so he was Santa in that. So he's been in a lot more other stuff too. I just wanted to give highlights. He's had a very, very broad career,
illustrious career.
The Lex Medlin played Cupid, and he's just done a lot of television, a lot of single episodes, but a lot of work. But he's a regular character on the TV show Southland. It's one I've heard of, but I haven't personally watched. Our Brad was played by BJ Prinsloo. Excuse me, I said my notes are terrible. PJ Prinsloo, and he's on a regular on a show called Edgemont, and he was in the movie Disturbing Behavior in 1998.
Nice.
And then Jim was Scott McAdam, and he was in he's on Fortunate Son and a bunch of television shows as well. Our other kind of more notable ones, we've got Janice was played by Lucy Guest. She's in the Netflix movie Hypnotic. She's been in a lot of I call them Hallmark movies, but your TV movie, romance movies, cute, relationship, not creepy or not.
But
not sexual
movies.
Romance, but Hallmark / Lifetime movies.
Yeah. We want to be a rom-com, but we're not. And this poor woman devoted her life to her career, and then she has to go to a small town and save it. But
she falls in love, so it's okay.
But she falls in love, and then she learns that she has to value more than her career because having a career is terrible for a woman. Oh, did I just explain all the things that are wrong with Hallmark Channel? Okay,
not
go
all
on.
Of them. Not anymore. They're not that bad anymore. She also, in fun other roles that we'd know her from, she was Cersei in Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She was Nikki in the movie Buddy Games. It was with Dax Shepard, Olivia Munn, and some other people. Comedy. She was in multiple episodes of iZombie as Vivian's assistant. And as an interesting side note, though, in addition to acting, she's actually directed 6 other TV movies on in the vein of Hallmark, the Hallmark kind of romancy things. But she's been a director as well, which is pretty cool. Then we've got Marty, who was the assistant to Dr. Corman, which we didn't see a ton, but he got referenced more than we saw him.
I feel like he got cut out. Because Dean's hey, so. Marty. I'm I think we missed something with Marty. Maybe there was an original coroner scene.
Maybe. But anyway, so he was Amit. It was played by Charles Singh. He was Amit in the movie The Guru, if you remember that. And just a ton of TV, from Fringe, V, X-Files, Once Upon a Time, Trackers, and some other stuff. And he had a small part in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And then Famine was played by James Otis, who has passed away. He passed away in 2020 at 71. So older gentleman. R.I.P. He did not have a massive career, honestly, in film that was trackable. He was Solbor on Deep Space Nine, which was somewhat reoccurred for a few episodes.
So, did he decide in his I'm older and now I just want to be an actor? Fuck it.
But Deep Space Nine, that would have been a while ago. And then he was in the movie The Black Dahlia. He was Dolph in that, and that was a while ago.
But that wasn't a while ago. That was a while ago, but not if it's a Black Dahlia movie I'm thinking of. But no.
And then he's just in a handful of TV and
or
movies,
maybe he was just like, I have to share these eyebrows with the world. And thank you. I appreciate it. My life is so much better because of your eyebrows, sir. Thank you.
But that's it for this episode. But yeah, it's some interesting appearances.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we'll return
So
from the casting couch. And let's talk about how this episode made Diana feel. Are we in Bummerland?
We ended in Bummerland, man. I don't know how you don't end that one in Bummerland. But it was a really fun episode, and you feel like a dick calling it fun, but it was a fun episode. I'm like, oh yeah, so-and-so, like, everybody like gave in to their demons. Sam's free, like, not literally, but like Sam's hooked back on the demon blood. Castiel's gorging himself to death. Freaking Dean's empty inside and dead inside. But this was really fun. Like, you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels wrong to say, but it kind of was, because you had just really unique storyline with the death scenes and with the Cupid, and then bringing in famine. Like, it was just a really good storyline. I enjoyed it in that regard. But it was so emotionally distressing too, seeing Sam struggle. The biggest thing were Sam's struggle, Dean's reaction to Sam's struggle, and Dean's own struggle in that he just really didn't have one anymore.
That he broken. But also I think, it keeps those those emotions are very relatable. We all have whether or not you're fighting an addiction or whether it was like, oh, that's a very, this is something that I know I need to not do, but I'm being driven to it. So we can identify with Sam's thing. And then with Dean, I think anybody who exists now can just feel, very much, relate to, I've been hit on the head over and over again, and now I'm just done and empty. Right. Mm-hmm. But also it's kind of uplifting because he's not that empty. He's like, he still has hope, right? Because if you don't have hope, you don't ask for help. You just give up. And he's not giving up. He is just like, I need something to get me over this next hurdle. Like, what can help me figure this out? So in a way, I think it's just the episode was so well written, which is why it was enjoyable and funny. It was disgusting. And I love things that are that gross, but also not scary. Right. So it's that realm of horror that I really I love comedic. I guess it's comedic horror, where it's okay, this is not, this is not something that, this is not a rom-com. This is just someone is eating somebody and that's disgusting, but it's also kind of funny. Yeah.
Agreed.
So I think tonality, I vibe with this a lot because we get the levity mixed in with these are the hard lessons about these characters we're facing right now, but also you can eat a bunch of Twinkies and die, which is also true. If you eat a bunch of Twinkies, you will die. I'm not a scientist.
The toilet brush being used to ramrod them down your throat like a cannon. The picture that line painted. I just cannot.
Nope. Stop. Nope. Go it away. Because I'm just like, that toilet brush isn't clean. We're going to stop now.
Oh.
Yeah. All so, right. I think we're not in so last week's episode was not Bummer, right? We've had
no.
So I think we're 2 episodes since Bummerland.
Well, last week was time travel, so it's just annoying.
That was stupid, but not Bummer.
No, this one it wavered almost into Bummersville just because of the introspective, sad, and stressful ending. But I wouldn't call it a full Bummersville.
Okay,
I'd call it not that. I think it's
so. This is Bummer's Suburbia.
Sure. Bummer's adjacent.
Bummer's adjacent. This is the subtown where you can bitch about the propositions that are in that subtown, but you don't live there.
Yeah.
All right. And with that note, you can't tell the midterm was just ended. Woohoo! What? Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, man.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.